Do you have any general advice for adults going back to school later in life? I just turned 30 and am in my senior year as an accounting student. Balancing school with adult life and entering the messy middle is rough. What advice do you guys have for Tori?
As if the messy middle weren't messy enough, right? First of all, I commend you because it's hard. Going back to school later in life is a difficult thing because most folks enter into the 30s, enter into the messy middle. They have 1,000 different things pulling them in 1,000 different directions. They're short on time, short on money, and there's not a whole lot of room for excess. And yet, Tori, here you are saying, I've got all that stuff likely going on, and I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go finish up because I want to perhaps pursue a different vocation. I want to go into accounting. I love that. So the question is, what's the general advice? This is the way that I would pose the general advice I would give you is do the best that you can as often as you can. Because what's going to happen is if you're back in school, you're likely not working full time or you're likely not making the same income you were. And so the messy middle gets even messier. While it would be very easy just to shut everything and say, you know what, I'm going back to school, I'm going to get my education, I'll put everything on pause until I get to the other side of that. While that is a strategy, I don't know that it's the absolute best strategy because the money that you're able to accumulate in this early 30s at this stage of life can be incredibly valuable for you. So as you look at Brian, can you hold the thing up?
Oh yeah.
As you look at your financial order of operations and think about where you are, maybe before I went to school, I was at step 6 and I was moving towards maxing out that employer plan. Maybe you do have to take a few steps back, but I would encourage you, if you can, you are still working, let's still get the employer match. Let's make sure we have a fully funded emergency fund. And then can we be doing things like maxing out the Roth or maxing out the HSA? Because even little small marginal decisions that allow you to stay the course at this stage, when you get to the other side, when you get into your new career, when you get to age 40, 45, 50, you'll look back and think, man, I'm so glad that I didn't shut everything down. I'm so glad I kept the ball moving forward.
I agree, but slightly disagree too.
You're wrong.
So, and I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I think you're setting up a good cop, bad cop, and I appreciate you taking the role of the bad cop there, by basically saying, hey, even though you're doing this incredible thing to better yourself, make sure you keep doing everything else too. And I just worry from a behavioral standpoint. Because you already heard when Tori was asking the question that it feels like there's just a lot going on right now. And what I worry about is look, whenever I'm dealing with hard life things, I have an internal question I always ask myself, is this a season or is this just the way things are? And I want to commend you is that obviously at some point you asked yourself that question and you said, you know, I feel like I'm in a bad place or I need a better opportunity. So you're like, I'm going to turn this trajectory I'm on and I'm going to go take a season for myself where I'm going to invest, go get an accounting degree and better my life. That's an incredible choice, first of all. So then you ask yourself, once you're in this decision of you're back in school, season or just how things are. Well, now you're in a season where you've got to do good in school. You've got the family, but you've also got this pressure of your financial life going on as well. And I think Bo is spot on. It is, I want you to be scared, but purposeful that when you're 30 years of age, every dollar has the potential to become $23. That's right. You know, when you were 20, back when most people were in college, every dollar had the potential to be $88. But I know in your future self, your 40-year-old self, every dollar only has a chance to become $7. So Bo is exactly right that it is important, but think about the fact if your income is going to have the potential to double, triple, maybe even quadruple over your lifetime, the season you're in where you're investing in education is going to be so much more valuable even within some of that compounding growth, because the savings rate is even more important than the compounding growth and when you're talking about how big your shovel is. So I just want to say, take a deep breath. Don't put too much pressure on yourself that you create the potential for failure. Meaning that if you overwhelm yourself through all this season, that you just don't accomplish anything, then take a deep breath and maybe you pause some of the financial stuff, accomplish the school, accomplish the family, but then you get back to it as fast as you possibly can. Or you do what Bo said. You try to max out the Roth. Choose what the goal is that's attainable and doable right now that doesn't break the system, and make that happen. But then you promise yourself because like I said, you're scared and purposeful. If you do make any concessions, you promise yourself when you come out to your great big beautiful tomorrow at the end of this education goal and you get that great new job and you start making more money than you've ever made, you're going to be double on the discipline to pay back what you missed out on in opportunity costs and then some, so that you do really get to build that just incredible vision for your future and maximize your financial life, as well as live the memory building awesomeness of this sacrifice in the moment you're in.